Welcome, guys. 2021 rolling through. Can you believe it? We are doing great. So excited to have you on. Going to talk to you today about emotions, talk to you about our gut and that connection with our brain. The brain is very much intimately involved with so many different things in the body, and yet so is our digestive tract. So let's get into it today. Let's talk about in depth into how that gut is going to affect what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're experiencing, what your perception of life and reality is can actually be dependent on what's going down in your gut. Hey, Kim, good to see you. Drop a line down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see it all over the country, all over the world. And if you haven't already, like or follow our page. Share this with anybody that you know that's having digestive issues, whether that's heartburn, reflux, indigestion, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, colitis. Any of these different digestive tract issues are not just going to affect our digestion, they're going to affect our brain, they're going to affect our overall experience of life, even what your weight is. Good to see you, Sandy, Dawn, everybody, Arizona, all you guys, great to see you. So remember all these sayings that you've heard, whether they're still in vogue now or not, but we've had gut-wrenching experiences. We've had that we feel nervous, right? You feel nervous. What is that? Well, your brain doesn't feel nervous. It's not like, oh my gosh, my brain's nervous. We actually feel it in our digestive tract. My stomach is in knots. Remember that one? Oh my gosh, I'm just so worried my stomach's in knots. Ooh, I've got butterflies. I'm so worried about something, about a track meet, about a test, whatever it is. I've got butterflies in my stomach. All of these sayings are here for a reason, and these were done hundreds of years ago where people didn't even realize this gut-brain connection. So we're going to get into why some of this stuff happens and how that actually works. Good to see you, Paula. Looking forward to see you down the road in the office. All right, guys, so welcome again, Functional Medicine, all about getting to the underlying why. Why is the body going haywire? Why are we having these imbalances? Why does somebody have brain issues? Why does somebody have gut issues? Why do some people have both going on? Can they affect each other? And absolutely the answer is yes, a resounding yes, that the gut can affect the brain can affect the gut, and vice versa. We know if somebody gets a concussion, a head injury, traumatic brain injury, anything like that, it throws off their digestive tract. Absolutely 100% of the time. It can lead to leaky gut. It can lead to food allergies. It can lead to slow motility. It can lead to SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. All of these different things can happen. I've got this whole slide here. I'll even post a picture of it, and it shows you what happens to the brain and all the different parts of the digestive tract. We go over that every day with patients. So the brain intimately involved with what's happening to the digestive tract. This happens through what's called the vagus nerve. Vagal nerve tone, cranial nerve 10 comes off the brainstem. It does the gag reflex. So that's why on our exam, I check every single person for a gag reflex. Our doctors that do my protocol, they check every single patient for that gag reflex. If they don't have a gag reflex, very good indication that that vagus nerve is not working like it should. Vagal nerve tone goes down and controls your sphincter, that little valve in between the stomach and esophagus. So a lot of people, reflux, indigestion, heartburn, all these things are because that valve is not opening and closing like it should. Another thing that happens in that digestive tract is that vagus nerve controls the peristalsis, or that squeezing motion of moving food through that digestive tract. And so if it's not firing like it's supposed to, then absolutely we're not going to be moving food through like we should. So we're going to get diarrhea. We're going to get alternating constipation diarrhea. Some people won't go for a week straight. Lots of different issues come about when we're not moving things through. The valve at the small and large intestine, the ileocecal valve, that's going to cause SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. And that's going to cause a lot of the yucky stuff that is coming up. So we know that we need to keep the bad stuff in the large intestine, not let it get back into the small intestine. So all of these things are coming around actually from what's going on in our brain. Then we get on the opposite side and we look at the emotions that are related to gut imbalances. And we know that chronic stress, that people that are stressed, worried, a lot of that emotional upheaval can be caused from an inflammatory diet. This is one of the big reasons why even in the first 30 days of somebody going through our program, they are going to feel dramatically different. Their inflammation is going to start coming down, but their brain's going to start changing. They're going to be less stressed. Their cortisol levels are going to start going down. We stabilize their blood sugar. Every time the blood sugar spikes up and then drops down, those adrenals are revved up and we get adrenaline going. Hey Cindy, good to see you there. So every time that blood sugar swings, we get adrenaline, we get this cortisol spike, we get this feeling of anxiety. So what you're putting in your mouth absolutely has to do with what your brain is feeling like and what the emotions are that you're having. So that chronic stress, cortisol, all that, you get your inflammation stabilized, you get your blood sugar stabilized, it's going to start going down, guaranteed. We see it every single time. The anxious, depressed, kind of that roller coaster, that depression, we have bacteria in the digestive tract that produces serotonin. Serotonin is that feel-good hormone, right? That hormone that we look at, that neurotransmitter that we look at that is going to, like Prozac. That's what Prozac is working on, is serotonin. And so people take that when they're depressed. But your digestive tract has more receptors for serotonin than your brain does. So what does that mean? Your gut better be in good shape or you're going to be depressed. And then we talk about that feel good, that happiness. So if someone is not as happy as they used to be, look to their gut because their bacteria is off. They're probably not making enough serotonin, as well as not having enough serotonin receptors be activated for the serotonin that is there, and they're going to be more likely to be sad, unhappy, not as satisfied with life, all of these different things. So we know it can go both directions. And hey Angela, good to see you. Yep. One of my favorite ones, we've talked about this before. There was a study done when you talk about weight. This is a little different than brain, but just to show you how important the gut is. Fecal transplant. Go ahead, if you haven't Googled that yet or YouTubed it, look up fecal transplant. But they take the bacteria and that fecal matter from one person and put it into the other. But in this study, they flip-flopped it, went from one person to the other and from that person back to the other person. And not only did their bacteria change and their microbiome change, but their belt size flip-flopped as well. So our gut even has to do with our weight and whether we're going to hold on to weight or lose weight or all of these different things. So it is huge part of what we need to do. But unfortunately, get this, if you've been on more than a couple antibiotics in your life, your gut will never be the same. Don't take it like, oh my gosh, I'm screwed, that's it, might as well not even try. But what's happening is that you're going to have to continually work on this. Fermented foods, kill off good bacteria, probiotics, yogurts, all these different things. You're going to have to continually be working. A bunch of years ago, I had 2 bullseye rings around tick bites, 2 of them at the same time. And that means Lyme disease. And I've worked on enough patients with Lyme disease to know that I do not want to go there. So what did I do? I went on antibiotics. And that's about the only thing when you catch it in the immediate time that you can 100% say, hey, if you do that, odds are that Lyme is not going to kick in. So I took antibiotics, and I took antibiotics for a long time. And my gut will never be the same. I will always be working on my digestive tract. I will always be working on my microbiome, my leaky gut, all of those things. It will never be the same. So there's a lot of people come in like, ooh, I've already done that. I've taken a probiotic or I've worked on leaky gut. But guess what? You've got to always be working on it. Remember, my saying is no days off. And that's the same thing. You might have a meal off, but you don't take a day off. You don't take a week off. You continually work day in and day out on your health, and it will reward you with a lifelong strength and vitality that you never knew you could have. So hope that helps, guys. Emotions, guts, absolutely connected. You've got to get both of those balanced out to be able to have them function optimally, and that is a huge part. Probably 50% of your body's ability to function at optimal is your brain and your gut. So if you've got questions on those, check out out a lot of other our videos. Also, post questions down below. We love answering those even down the road if you're watching later. And you guys stay strong and make it a great day. Take care.